This is New York Giants Now by Chat Sports, and I am your host, Marshall Green. Appreciate everybody for stopping by. For the last time this week, we're going to recap what happened in the game against the Washington Commanders. And then after today, I'm mainly saying this for myself because I can't stop watching it. We are on to the Dallas Cowboys. Let's start with this. The more film I watch about this game, the more upset that I get. The more stats that I dive into, the more my blood starts to boil. Let's start with my number one takeaway. Shane Bowen is not the guy for the job. He is not the defensive coordinator that is going to maximize this football team. A good coach is able to put players in spots to maximize their talents. Bad coaches, they have their schemes, they're set in their ways, and they try to make players fit into their scheme. And that's exactly what he is doing right now. You won't believe this. Kayvon Thibodeaux, Adbul Carter, Dexter Lawrence, and Brian Burns, the talk of the New York Giants dating all the way back to the moment that Adbul Carter was picked number 3 overall. The strength of the football team. The way they're going to win games is these 4 guys on the field at the same time wreaking havoc. Well, it only happened 8 times. The Giants' defense logged 65 snaps on Sunday. And Kayvon Thibodeaux, Adbul Carter, Dexter Lawrence, and Brian Burns, they were on the field together for 8 of those snaps. 12% of the time. How is that possible? Shane Bowen failed the New York Giants in their Week 1 matchup against the Washington Commanders. He did not do a good enough job of utilizing the players that he had to create a winning formula. Because there is nobody walking this earth that would have said, oh yeah, the Giants are going to win today, and only 8 snaps between the fearsome foursome. How is that supposed to work? How are you supposed to win football games when you're paying Kayvon Thibodeaux almost $18 million next season, use the number 5 overall pick on him. You're paying Dexter Lawrence $100 million. You're paying Brian Burns $150 million and a second-round pick, and Adbul Carter, number 3 overall pick. You spent all those resources on these players, and they were only on the field 12% of the time together. It gets even worse. Only 39 of the 65 snaps featured 3 of these 4 players. So you didn't even operate at like a 75% clip where you had 3 of your best 4 defensive linemen on the field at the same time. I don't understand it. The snap count usage was a joke. The lack of plays, the lack of total reps that Adbul Carter out there was a major problem. We already talked about that earlier in the week. 38 snaps for him, with 32 on the bench. But it was the times that Shane Bowen chose to take his best players off the field that hurt this football team. When the Giants needed to make a play, when they put themselves in an advantageous situation because they won first down, they didn't put their best players on the field to win the snap. So often when it was a big play, 2nd and long, 3rd and long, you'd look up and you'd be like, where's Adbul Carter? Where is Kayvon Thibodeaux? Where's Dexter Lawrence? Where's Brian Burns? So let's go through it. Let's go through all the plays where the Giants didn't have these all 4 players on the field at the same time when they were money downs. And I'll tell you this much, it was not good. Let's start at the beginning of the football game. It was quarter number 2. 10 minutes, 24 seconds left in the half. 2nd and 16. No Dexter Lawrence, no Kayvon Thibodeaux, and Jane Daniels. Pass, short to the right side to Deebo Samuel for 16 yards. First down for Washington. So the first time of the season, you had a team in an obvious passing down on 2nd and 16. You decided to say, nope, we don't need Dexter Lawrence. We don't need Kayvon Thibodeaux. Bang, 16 yards for the Washington Commanders. On to the next play. Once again, The Washington Commanders facing a 2nd and 19. And Adbul Carter is not on the football field. And guess what happened? Jaden Daniels pass to the left to Terry McLaurin for 13 yards. So the second time you found yourself in an obvious passing down for Washington, 2nd and 19, you don't have your star rookie on the football field. Bang. Big play for Washington. Here we go again. This time, no Brian Burns on the field. 2nd and 10. It's 14-3 at this point. Quarter number 2. 1 minute, 55 seconds left. You're about to go to halftime. I don't want to hear that players are tired. I don't want to hear about any of that. 2nd and 10, completion, 11 yards. Bang, another first down for the Washington Commanders. All they did was take advantage of the mental mistakes that were caused by the coaching staff for the New York Giants, and they turned them into big plays for Washington. To the next play we go. Trust me, it doesn't get any better. 2nd and 21 now, with 90 seconds left in the first half. Brian Burns still not on the football field. 2nd and 21, a completion of 9 yards. Sets up 3rd and 12. Guess what happened? A 21-yard gain after that. To be fair, all 4 were on the field on that point, but you sat an opportunity at 2nd and 21 to force a 3rd and 21, or potentially a holding call, potentially a grounding call, potentially a sack, potentially an incompletion. You moved them into a manageable 3rd down, and guess what the superstar quarterback did? He took advantage of the New York Giants' mental mistakes. On to the next play. Here we go. We are at 14-6. Quarter number 4. 2nd and 8. Gotta have it. Gotta get off the football field. Gotta get your offense the football back to go and make a play. Guess what happened on 2nd and 8 with no Dexter Lawrence on the field? No Adbul Carter time. A time that you had to get a stop. Zach Ertz, 11 yards. First down, Washington. A drive where it is still a 1-possession game in the 4th quarter. You could force them into a 3rd and long here and punt. But you know what you did? You took your best player off the field. You took your star rookie off the field as well. First down, Washington. Let's stay on that same drive. Quarter number 4. Still an 8-point game. This time it's 2nd and 17. We don't need Brian Burns. We don't need Kayvon Thibodeaux. We don't need them on the football field. So what happened on 2nd and 17? You guessed it, another chunk play for Washington. A 12-yard gain on a Jaden Daniels run up the middle. Who would have thought that on 2nd and long with no Brian Burns and Kayvon Thibodeaux on the field that they would create a chunk play? Now, how does that happen? Guess what? There's more from the same drive. There's now 8 minutes and 55 seconds left in the ball game. Down by 8. Ball at midfield. No Brian Burns. No Kayvon Thibodeaux. 3rd and 5. Bang. 19-yard catch. The nail in the coffin. And the New York Giants, they lose. So you had 3 opportunities on the game-clinching drive for Washington to have your best football players on the field on the downs that mattered the most, and you did not get the job done. Not only did you not get the job done, you didn't give yourself a fighting chance. You didn't put your best 4 defensive players on the field. In Washington, they took advantage of that. I can't believe I'm saying this. There's another play on this drive where the New York Giants could have got the ball back. And they didn't have their best personnel on the field. Gotta have it. 2nd and 15. Ball at the 35. Right at field goal range. A sack potentially pushes them out of field goal range. And you don't have Kayvon Thibodeaux on the football field. And it was a pass to the right to Austin Eckler for 15 yards. First down, Washington. I just showed you 4 plays on the most critical drive of the game. Not one of them featured Adbul Carter, Kayvon Thibodeaux, Dexter Lawrence, and Brian Burns. How are you supposed to win football games if your best players aren't on the field in the biggest moments? Professional sports is pretty simple. You need your best players to be the best players to win games. And the Giants don't even put their best players on the field in the biggest moments. Shane Bowen is not fit for this job. When you're fired by the Tennessee Titans, I think that says all that you need to know about who you are as a football coach. We know why the Giants hired Shane Bowen, because nobody else wanted to come work with Brian Daboll after he and Wink Martindale had a little pissing match. Now you're stuck with Shane Bowen. And the results are there. He's not the guy for the job. I don't care if they only gave up 21 points. They gave up 430 yards. And it could have been closer to 600 yards if Jane Daniels and drops were not a problem. Oh, and also it should have been 24 points at a minimum. The botched play at the end of the half was just completely Washington's fault. The Giants didn't do anything for that. What's your confidence level in Shane Bowen? Scale for me from 1 to 10. 1 being he is not the guy. 10, you got the most confidence in the world. Let me know. We got more to talk about, unfortunately, about this game and the way the personnel was used. But I got an awesome deal for you. And shout out to our sponsor of today's show. That is Chubbies. When you go to chubbyshorts.com/chatsports, you're going to get $10 off your purchase. I'll make sure all that information is clickable down in the comments and the description of today's show. The leaves are turning, the temps are dropping, and the weekend air is getting that nice autumn crisp. Just because the weather is changing over doesn't mean you have to pack away the fun. Chubbies is here to make sure your fall wardrobe is ready to rock and roll. Mark your calendars. The Chubbies fall collection drops this week. It dropped on September 9th, and it's packed with cozy gear that brings the metaphorical and real heat. And later this month, they're launching their new comfort collection featuring the Everywhere Jogger. It's the perfect pant for impromptu naps, weekend errands, and everything in between. We all agree fall should be cozy, not constricting. And Chubbies delivers peak softness without sacrificing an ounce of style. So go ahead, break up with the stiff pants, and embrace the fun side of fall. Whether you're layering up for tailgates, lounging through lazy Sundays, or just leaning fully into fall comfort, Chubbies has you covered. For a limited time, Chubbies is giving Giants Now Real Ones $10 off their order with the code CHATSPORTS at chubbyshorts.com. That's code CHATSPORTS at chubbyshorts.com. Support the show. Show your thighs some respect with Chubbies. All righty. So we showed you what happened when the New York Giants did not have their best 4 players on the field. And it wasn't good. Every single time they had them pinned back on a 2nd and 3rd and long and they weren't on the field, bang, big play Washington, chains are moving. So I thought it'd only be fair to be transparent. And it won't be that long. Because it was only 12% of the defensive snaps where all 4 of these guys were on the football field. Let's start with the first play. It didn't come until play number 6 of the game. 3rd and 5. Ball on the Washington 41. And it was a penalty. It was a penalty. A false start by Washington. They didn't know what to do. They saw Adbul Carter. They saw Dexter Lawrence. They saw Brian Burns and Kayvon Thibodeaux. So I'm going to keep a tally here while we go through this show. Could have done it while I was scripting. Positive and negative. All right? I don't know about you. A 5-yard loss for the offense, I would say, is a positive for the New York Giants. Let's move on to the next play. 3rd and 10. Ball on the Washington 36. Adbul Carter, Dexter Lawrence, Brian Burns, Kayvon Thibodeaux. You got the guys on the field. Guess what happened? A positive play for the New York Giants. An incomplete pass. Probably could have been caught by Zach Ertz, but it wasn't. A little bit of pressure, and Jaden Daniels didn't throw the most perfect ball, a little bit rushed. Another positive play for the Giants. That's 2. On to the next play. 3rd and 9. Quarter number 2, 13 minutes and 23 seconds left in the game. As you can see, there's pressure in the face of Jayden Daniels. Oh my God, who would have thought that? And guess what happened? An incomplete pass to Terry McLaurin on the left side. Did he beat Paulson Adebo? Absolutely. But Jayden Daniels wasn't allowed to just hitch up in the pocket, sit there all day, and deliver a perfect pass. It was rushed. The timing was off. Andrew Phillips was in his face, and an incompletion. So we've talked about 3 plays, and they've all been positives for the New York Giants. So let's go to the next one. This one, 3rd and 6. Ball on the Washington 28-yard line. All 4 guys on the field. Jayden Daniels scrambles to the right end, out of bounds, for 11 yards. With a penalty on the New York Giants, Javon Holland caused for holding. So that one, sure, we'll call it a negative play because he picked up the first down anyways. I thought Brian Burns did not play a good contain there. He did not force him back inside, and he allowed Daniels to scamper for a first down. So 4 plays so far, 3 positive, 1 negative. Let's move on to the next one. 1st and 10, ball on the Giants' 29-yard line. And Austin Eckler ran for 4 yards. Austin Eckler runs for 4 yards. I'm going to call that another positive play for the Giants. So we've run 5 plays so far, and 4 have been positive, and 1 has been negative. So let's move to the next one here. 2nd and 6. Jayden Daniels, pass up the middle. Austin Eckler, 12 yards. I'm not going to say that this is a negative due to the pass rush. Somehow, on 2nd and 6, Austin Eckler is just allowed to run a little button hook, sit over the ball, catch the ball, turn upfield. So just to be fair, we'll call it a negative. 4 positives and 2 negatives. We'll move on to the last one here. Jayden Daniels, incomplete. Oh my gosh. Incomplete. Pass on the right side. Incomplete. And that was the last time the Giants ran this personnel grouping. That was the last time they did it. So we have 5 positives and 2 negatives. And they never went back to it. Didn't come back to it one time. You know why that pass was incomplete? Because there was pressure on Jayden Daniels' face. And he had to drift in the pocket, Shedeur Sanders-esque, and throw a ball that was much further needed. And Terry McLaurin was unable to haul it in because the pass was low. The Giants never went back to it. How is that possible? How? Shane Bowen is not the defensive coordinator for this football team. Shane Bowen wants to play a soft, conservative, bend but don't break style of football. That is not what this personnel calls for. This personnel calls for pinning your ears back, creating pressure, causing mayhem, and getting after the quarterback. A good coach puts his players in position to be successful. They adjust their scheme. Shane Bowen does not. Shane Bowen says, this is the way I do it. It's my way or the highway. I don't care if you equip me with 4 awesome pass rushers. I'm not going to play them together, even if it works. And I'm going to sit in zone coverage, sit 10 yards off, and hope that you make a mistake on your own accord, not one that we are going to force. You better fix it against Dallas. If you don't, you'll be 0-2 heading into Monday Night Football against the Kansas City Chiefs. And I'm sure that one will go good against Patrick Mahomes. Make sure you are following me on social media. I'm on Twitter. I'm on Instagram @MarshallGreen_.